Hey, so since I'm first in the line, I think I'm going to preface a little bit about what's going on as far as like the whole video thing is working. Basically, how it is right now is each of us guys is going to record the week prior, and then each day will have each each day we'll have a different one of us have a video from one of us posted. Wow, that was took me way too hard to say. What? Damn. So, anyways, so this video is gonna jump along. I have a part from when I'm from Monday, and then like today's now Friday, um, for me, which is the Friday the 19th. So cool. Um, and then I'll jump to what's going on now because I'm still trying to figure out how I want to format this stuff. But in the future, it should be pretty much like Monday through Friday of the week prior videos from me. If that makes sense. Cool. Hey, so I'm here on campus at the University of Washington. I'm in a nice little shady place, kind of, though the sun's right there. Right next to the fountain, more or less. It's kind of over there, if you know anything about the University of Washington. Um, I just want to say hi, what I'm up to. Um, and chemistry, which sucks. Chemistry's awful. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm heading to the my research lab to do some stuff. I believe we're talking about the microfluidic valves that one of the professors is developing or working on, which will eventually go into the project I'm in charge of. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch up with you guys later. Hey, I'm back. I just wanted to quickly showcase one of my favorite places on campus. So that right there is the research building I work in. And just back behind me is this look across the water, and you get to see all people's towns and the boats, and then the leaves and the trees, and it's quite amazing. And I just want to talk real quick about that because I got about 20-30 minutes before my meeting with the professor. We do like a weekly thing on Mondays where someone in the lab showcases like the project that they're currently working on. So I mentioned earlier that I think that the guy working on the microfluidic valves, and for those of you who don't know, microfluidics is basically like you take like liquids like blood and chemicals and like things like that, and even stuff like water, and you get it going through these channels that are very, very small, something like only a few microns wide, which 1,000 microns is 1 millimeter, so you can imagine how tiny these things are. And the properties that you can get from these materials is truly fascinating. For example, there's one of the main showcases of the lab is a device that can test a single cancer biopsy against 30 different chemicals to see which one is most effective, which is kind of cool. It's really fascinating. So yeah, I'm working on developing a 3-material extruder for bioprinting and other things, which is pretty cool, if I have to say so myself. It's kind of insane that I got that position, but so yeah, I'll give you guys like a quick update on what kind of happened afterwards. But yeah, as you can see here, this is like another completely different part of the campus, and as we go on, you'll probably hear me talk about how insanely massive the UW campus is. It's like a small city. It's truly a maze. The buildings are so tall, and it's all built on like a hill, or like a series of hills. So trying to figure out where you are is kind of like just an intuition thing. You honestly have no idea. And it's pretty cool, actually. There's some really, really pretty places, especially now that we're in fall. And most of you probably know about, they have like I believe, world famous like cherry blossoms in the quad, which is pretty bitchin'. And Odegaard is really pretty too. They have like Suzzallo. Suzzallo is the one with like the Harry Potter room, which I wish I could show you, but it's like definitely quiet in there. And it's trying to do like talking and stuff would just be disruptive. But maybe I can do like a quiet, silent thing one time. But yeah, there's I think 44,000 students, not including like faculty and things like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll catch up with you guys afterwards, though. See ya. Okay, cool. So we're back. So the presentation was on the valves. It was actually really fascinating because he talked a lot about like the physics and chemistry behind how they're actually able to print these devices. And to be honest, I have no fucking clue what's going on. So I just kind of accepted it, and as long as it works, it works. For then, I've been looking into. I redesigned some of the inlets. This is kind of cool. So they now have a filled at the end, and I believe next Tuesday they're going to be doing a test print to see how much stronger and if it's actually like making a significant difference in the actual overall design and strength of these devices, because they're having a lot of sharing issues when it comes to inlets, which doesn't matter. I've also been looking into how to make these microfluidic devices modular, which would be really, really cool. And we're looking on, because their biggest issue right now is they're printed on glass slides and cannot be removed from them because of the special glue that they use. So we're looking on printing on maybe a material that's not as like, it's easier to deal with because glass is really expensive to like try and cut it as like a post-process kind of maneuver. So we're looking at how I'm doing that separately. What's also cool is, just trying to help out in that where I can kind of thing is where I'm at right now in the research group. We had Campus Clash on Thursday. For those of you who don't know, Charlie Kirk came down to the University of Washington and gave a little speech. Sorry, there's a car passing by. I'm on like the middle of the street right now, or I'm on like a bench on a street right now. My lab is just up there. I wanted to get this quick record before I go to my back to my dorm. So, where was I? Oh, anyways, he came to the college. And it was really cool because wherever you are on the political spectrum, I respect your beliefs, and I think that's something that's not really done a lot as much anymore. I was talking to Lucas about that. It's like we almost wish it went back to when the only difference between the two parties was one wanted taxes and one wanted to get rid of taxes. But it's evolved. American politics has evolved a lot, and I won't really get into a whole lot because frankly I don't know enough, and I just don't want to do that. But something that I like that he really stressed, and I kind of want to stress it here too, is that we should be willing to talk with each other. He talked about how like the second that you stop talking from different sides and points of view is the second that you fail as a country. He cited like in a marriage, when the two people stop talking, that's when a divorce happens. And that's something that can be really applied to not just politics, but life in general. And I feel like that needs to be stressed more. It's kind of a weird segue from engineering into this, but I just felt like I needed to talk about it because it's weird for me that most people can't have a discussion about two very opposing ideals without screaming at each other, or you hear things in like the news where people are being like kicked and stuff because of their different ideals, and I feel like that needs to change. I don't know what I can do about that. Fuck up. I'm just a dude. But yeah, is there some guy yelling? Sounds like some guy was yelling. That's okay. This crow is really pissing me off. I wonder if you guys can hear that or not. Hopefully not. I don't know if the mic's gonna go through my little headphones, hashtag not sponsored, or through the other stuff, but we'll see. It's kind of doing like a real test run right now. It's kind of cool though. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to this week. What else? Oh, we had our first meeting for the project that I'm specifically working on with another one, which is the multi-material printer, and the idea of creating gradients in like an FDM style printer, which could be really cool. And that went really well, actually. It turns out that like a lot of the things that we thought we were going to have to do were not. I don't want to go into too much specifics just because of like legal issues. I have no idea what how much we can share and not. But basically, we had this like idea of what we're going to have to go through, and like all these steps that we were going to have to take. And it turns out that the other lab that we're working with years ago had a similar idea. So what we can do is basically just piggyback off each other to work towards this fully functioning device, which would be really cool. So yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened that was kind of interesting. Today is like W Day, which is like our like Husky thing. So I'm gonna try and get a picture because the massive fountain. If you've ever been to the UW campus, there's a huge fountain, and it's purple at night. They light it up purple, which is kind of cool. They did last night, but I didn't get a picture or a video or anything. That was kind of cool. Oh, I got a fun story. So in my chemistry class, they try and do these labs, right? And it's fucking hilarious because I don't know where they get these researchers. Because, like, for example, today's lab was talking about, like, combustion. And so the idea was to get this tank, right, of methane and get a little cone on a, like, tube attached to the tank, right? And then dunk the cone in, like, bubble bath stuff and then blow a bubble and then light it midair. Because they had this stick that had like a candle duct taped to the end, and they lit the candle and like they're supposed to poke the balloon. It took them like, I want to say like 5 minutes to actually get a bubble to come off the cone. And when that occurred, my professor, who was the one holding the candle and the stick, missed it. And it got to the point where they had to continue the lecture while these two other like TAs were still continuing the experiment off in the corner. So let's just say that like no one paid attention to what actually was going on, and that was the best part. I actually have some of the video of this, and I'll try and speed through the parts that didn't work, but it's pretty great because one of the best parts is, I hope I got it on camera, probably not, but there's some lady behind me goes, oh, so this is where my tuition money is going. Nice. But finally they did get it, and it is a pretty solid fireball. I'll say that. I'll include that at the end of the video. But it's just so stupid because you think that like they'd have a better way of doing this. I guess not. It's pretty great. So yeah, that was pretty much my events, and now we have the fireball. See you guys next week.
Four, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8.